T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Happy Friday, y'all. Welcome to Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, and we are back for the Friday edition. Sorry about Wednesday. It was just, we all be working. That's just how it is. But I am not alone. She has probably 10 more jobs than I do. It's
Ella, J, it's Ella J.
Kane really needs to get a commission on that.
Oh my goodness. Hello. It looks like just the two of us. We might have some guests popping in here and there, but it's Friday. How's everything going?
It was working literally up until 5 o'clock doing this and then working right after. There's no stopping for either of us, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like, all right, okay,
yeah.
Here
I
we are.
feel that. But tomorrow is the day off, so I'm looking forward to that. But we got a lot to run through on news in the meantime.
Day off. Santana, why are you shaking your head?
I think it's the Kane thing.
Ella, J.
I had no idea they were doing that. That was not even my idea. I had no idea about it until Monday.
You now have your own theme song.
I do.
And once
you still have to send me the clip, yeah.
Yeah, we have to. I don't want to send it to you just yet.
Okay.
That was like a first draft. We need to do the video, do little things here and there. Then you could spread it to the world and it'll become a thing. And wow,
I think she's just talking about Kane singing. I'm gonna just take it as that. Santana, or else we could have some beef.
Is he singing or is he beatboxing? He's kind of. I don't know. It's not really singing. It's something. We'll give it that. It's Kane be Kanan. That's what it is. So let's get to our first story.
The top rope.
So what do we have?
I feel like we got to start with also hello Ed, thank you for drinking. I feel like we have to start with obviously weren't here on Wednesday, but there was a big announcement on Monday night, an announcement that nobody saw coming. Just kidding. We all saw it coming from a mile away. I'm talking about Cody Rhodes being announced for the official 2023 Royal Rumble. Obviously, he has not wrestled since June at Hell in a Cell against Seth Rollins. Mm-hmm. He obviously had that tear, I believe, on his pectoral muscle or something like that. So WWE officially announced he would be entering it in his official return. And, a lot of people were hoping that they would kind of keep that a secret. But also at this point, it was just kind of expected at that point, which led to WWE officially announcing it, since nearly everybody was expecting that already. And because apparently they already have some other surprises that they're more than pleased to share in the meantime, besides Cody's. So that's led to some interesting theories as to who some of those surprises could be. But I can promise you, one of those surprises is not, at least not likely, going to be The Rock, as apparently he also didn't have enough time to get ready, to get ring shape ready, even though this was literally talked about like a year ago at this point. You know, he's been in Hollywood, but he definitely knew about this. So, I mean, it's kind of a twofold thing. Sir, you Ben knew that the plan was Roman Reigns versus The Rock at WrestleMania potentially. You know, I get it, you're busy. Sir, you had
You work out
ample
all the
time to
time.
get ready.
Yeah, it's not like he doesn't work out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we've gotten to this place where, like, yes, we all kind of knew and predicted that Cody
Yeah.
Rhodes is going to be there, but out of all the announcements to make, like, why announce it? Like, it's almost kind of like, you know, your significant other is going to propose. Do you want them to say, "Hey, I'm going to propose on whatever day," or do you want, like, you know, it's happening? Do you just want like a little surprise? Like, I feel like it's very minute, obviously. But
Apparently, you know,
why?
apparently their other surprises were big enough to kind of them getting away with announcing Cody. They apparently have other surprises that might even be accumulated bigger than Cody Rhodes. I feel like them all added up together might be a bigger surprise than just Cody Rhodes. But Cody coming out at number 30, honestly, or number 1 or somewhere in there would have been a cool.
Right.
It wouldn't have been really a surprise, but it still would have garnered a great moment. I think he's going to get a great pop nonetheless. But apparently they have more surprises that they feel are good enough to kind of take that place of the surprise we were all hoping for in Cody.
Right. Yeah, but Royal Rumble, they always have surprises. Like,
I
we
know.
always, there's always, there's a handful of people that we know that makes sense. And then there's also a handful of people that's like, oh, that's a
Yeah.
surprise. I mean, again, minute stuff. There's so many other things. We have talked about The Rock being part of this extensively, and we don't know, and it would be a great surprise. However, we really don't know. So it's kind of one
However,
of those things.
the crazy part is too that today, Dave Meltzer reported that Cody isn't even cleared yet. You know, that's kind of just a formality. They're expecting him to be cleared in time for the Rumble, but as of the time of the announcement, Cody wasn't even officially cleared to return to the ring yet. Obviously, he's expected to be, but what happens if, God forbid, he doesn't get cleared by the doctors in between now and then? Then what are you going to do? Go back on it, or just have him have a really like short tenure in the Rumble? Also, hello, Ricky. So now they have to play that game and pray that Cody is actually cleared.
Yeah, that's what. Then it goes back to the same thing. Why, like, they keep a lid on everything else. Why, unless they're doing it to distract, because also too, we're in a different era where, like, we have shows like this and other shows where it's just kind of one of those things that we talk about everything extensively on social media, on so many different platforms. So maybe they're throwing us this to distract us from whatever potential possibilities or some other random story. Like, this is stuff that they do in the news industry. They throw something this way, and, you know, lo and behold, you've now lost your Social Security for life.
Yeah.
That type of stuff. So it's just kind of interesting, the behind the scenes, what made them.
Then in that though, if they are happy with the other surprises they have in store, and it's evidently not The Rock, because The Rock himself said apparently that he's not ring shape ready. I know Edge is projected to return, but also like Edge has only been out since like October, so it's not like a massive surprise.
Right.
So I want to know, like, who else could be taking this big surprise place if it's not The Rock? Edge, yeah, it's a big surprise, but it's not like to the magnitude as to what Cody or The Rock would have been. So like,
Right.
like, is it The Undertaker? Like, what? Like, I don't know who else it could be then. If I know they have some surprises, but who's going to be the big one this year? That's the thing.
Yeah. And then The Rock saying he's not ring shape ready is just weird. I mean, you work out every day, and I understand there's a difference.
Oh, I didn't think about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt Cardona did trademark Zack Ryder. So I did see that. So I mean, that's possible. That would be a pleasant surprise. I don't put it up there as the same magnitude as The Rock or Cody, but that would be a pleasant surprise. Yeah, Nick Aldis is definitely a free agent too. He's one that again would be a pleasant surprise. Again, it wouldn't have the same magnitude as the other two, but another one though is Jay White. Maybe Jay White is a big surprise. That would be a big surprise to everybody.
Right.
I believe his contract is up around the Rumble time, actually. So maybe, but the biggest shock would be if Vince entered the Rumble. I would definitely be shocked. But that man is also like 78 years old now.
I mean, are we gonna put it against him? Like anything is possible.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, anything is possible.
Well, we actually did it when it's the two of us. It's actually pretty good because there are some tangents sometimes, so we can definitely put The Rock and the speculations. We're not going to go down the rabbit hole. So
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hi, Chad.
Hey, Chad. So what do we have next?
I just want to say, speaking of the boss, I'm repping the CEO today, Mercedes Moné, her new shirt that I'm obsessed with.
Actually, you know what? It's so hilarious because before you showed the shirt, I was like, "Oh, you have a picture of me." But it took a moment. It's okay.
The hate on Kane today, poor Kane.
I know. He's not even here to defend himself. But what do we have next?
I mean, we were talking about Vince McMahon, right? Obviously, Vince McMahon is now the executive chairman of the board ever since Stephanie McMahon resigned. There's been some speculation as to whether he will overtake creative. Obviously, that doesn't seem to be the case now, as Triple H has still remained the CCO, the chief content officer. And I know they had a talent meeting on Monday, I believe. There was also SmackDown Superstars there. And I believe they said that Vince is not going to be controlling creative, at least as of now. But Nick Khan did a podcast this week, which there was a bunch of quotes in there, but there's been a lot of speculation too as to Raw is 30 is coming up. Vince McMahon himself has appeared on TV in the midst of the scandalous trial last year. We saw him on SmackDown say then, now, forever together. So there's been some talk of, could he pop up on TV? Maybe at the Rumble, maybe not. But Nick Khan, who is now the sole CEO, says he doesn't think that's going to happen at this moment. He says it could change in a month, but that would be Paul and Vince being on the same page about it, which is talking about Triple H. So according to Nick Khan, that would have to be up to Triple H and Vince McMahon. Again, Triple H is in charge of the creative, which is what's being presented to you on TV, but that doesn't seem to be the case now. But again, anything could happen with Vince McMahon.
And it's not just Vince McMahon. I don't know about y'all. Old people are a trip. When old people get to a certain age and they're not, and they're, they still have control of their bodily functions and they're still like spry. Yeah. They're the worst ever, meaning that they've reached a certain age. It's like, look, I've done it. I don't really care. I'm going to tell you my feelings. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. There's this old lady on Instagram. I forgot what her name was, where she loved like McDonald's, what's it called? Milkshakes. It's like she's eating the worst food ever, but it's kind of like, I've reached 80 years old. So like what? And what?
Yeah.
So with that being said, I feel like with Vince McMahon, he's at that age where it's like, look,
but also like Mick Foley was talking about on his podcast, Too Foley is Pod, that Vince McMahon doesn't really have a backup. Somebody like a Jim Ross has football to lean back on if he were to retire. Vince McMahon, he was talking about, he ain't gonna go bird watching or whatever. What else? This business has been his whole entire life. He doesn't really have any other outside interests or investments outside of this. So even Mick Foley could not imagine Vince McMahon not in gorilla position and not doing something involving WWE. That's basically what he's done for like most of his life. So I don't even know if Vince McMahon even has any other interests, that he could even possibly do. So he's definitely now obviously fully invested back in WWE again.
Yeah. So long story short, Vince is going to do what Vince is going to do, and we're just going to be here to watch. And with that being said, it's so kind of hilarious because I like when things organically happen. we are going to have a surprise for, I think he's getting situated. We are going to have a surprise for Mr. Professor next week because an idea has just.
Oh, I have no idea what it is, Professor.
boy.
I just want to say that I have no idea.
Oh boy,
It's gonna be another song.
I'm sure.
On location. Thanks for kind of checking in with us. What are you up to?
Well, I am literally backstage. We've got the Georgia Wrestling History Awards happening tonight. It's happening here right outside of Atlanta. And so I am literally backstage. I found out that I'm actually hosting this thing along with my broadcast partners. So that's going to be fun tonight. And we're giving awards out in about 20 categories tonight, obviously including commentator of the year, match of the year, all that kind of stuff.
So you're gonna give yourself the award?
Yeah,
Like,
you're
how
gonna
does
win
that work?
commentator of the year, right?
Well, I'm not presenting that award, obviously.
It's rigged.
But
Just
no,
kidding.
but the way that this has worked, they've actually had the wrestlers and varying people in the Georgia wrestling community voting on all of these things. So it's prestigious in the perspective of, whenever your peers honor you, it's really special. Obviously, when fans honor you, it means one thing, but when your peers do, it means something very, very special. So yeah, I've literally been getting things together in terms of intros for people, all of this jazz. So yeah. So that's why I'm obviously not dressed yet. I will get dressed when I'm done with this because we've got red carpet coming up in a little bit. So, well, I'm also realizing, right, like, sans what I have on my head, this is normal WWT live stuff, but commentary gear kind of turns a little different. Matter of fact, I see a comment from Nikki. I saw Nikki at Nikki and Santana all weekend actually at Impact, and then they came through to Battle Slam. And so I got a great compliment from Nikki, so I knew I must have done something right.
Yes,
So,
this is true. This is
Nikki
very
does
true.
not throw out compliments randomly. So
Yes. So
I was
let's,
like, I must have been okay.
that's like for you and Nikki. So just saying.
That's gonna be Gerard's View hosting the show too.
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, so it's gonna be fun. And let me see. She asked if it was streaming. I don't think it's streaming, but I do think they are recording this, so it may be broadcast at some point somewhere. But yeah. Oh wow, now that's a high honor. Turnbuckle Glam, that's a high honor. Thank you.
Just saying.
Yeah.
all
So
these
yeah, it'll be fun. But it's gonna be a good night.
Do you want to hit the wrestling back so we can allow you to get your red carpet ready?
Yeah, I can hit some of them. I don't have them all in front of me, but I think I remember enough of them.
Okay.
Or at least I hope I do. So I believe.
Hold on.
Page wrestling facts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you may proceed.
Now I may proceed.
Proceed
So
with caution.
I believe it was 1998. Just bring the first thing up and I can tell you what
Yes,
happened.
sir.
Yeah, my brain is all over the place tonight, so y'all forgive me. It's not as polished as it normally is. Yes. So this day in 1998, the great Bobo Brazil passed away. I believe it was at age 74. Most people, it's interesting when we talk about African-American wrestlers today in the environment we're in now, there is a plethora of African-American wrestlers, male and female. But if you go back to the 50s, 60s, 70s, they were very, very hard to come by. And Bobo Brazil was one of the most popular African-American wrestlers in the business ever. Let me show you the level of his popularity. In 1962, which is a year before Dr. Martin Luther King did his very famous I Have a Dream speech, Bobo Brazil had a shot at the NWA World Championship. Now, just consider this. An African-American wrestler in 1962 getting the opportunity at the biggest world title in the game at that time. It was highly unusual, highly unlikely. And here's the crazy part. He actually won that match against Buddy Rogers, but he won it because he had hit Buddy Rogers inadvertently in the groin. So he would not accept the title because he was a good guy. That was, devious. He wouldn't do that. So they ended up having a rematch 3 weeks later where Buddy Rogers ended up winning the match, retaining the title. Therefore, we don't get our first Black world champion until 1992 and Ron Simmons. If that didn't happen and he went on and took the title, we would have had our first Black world champion in 1962. Now, the wrestling business clearly wasn't ready for that at that particular time, but the fact that even happened was amazing. So we lost Bobo Brazil on this day in 1998, which was extremely significant. Show me the next thing, because I think it's coming back to me. Yes, that same day on Monday Night Raw, Owen Hart won the European Championship. He defeated Goldust. Now, here's the crazy part about this. This is the funny story. Goldust was not the European champion. The European champion was Triple H. Triple H feigned an injury on Monday Night Raw. So Sergeant Slaughter, who was the commissioner there, said, okay, Goldust can sub for you. So Goldust was actually literally cosplaying as Triple H. And he defended the European title and lost. And
I
Owen
need to
Hart,
see this match.
Oh,
I need to
listen,
see this.
It's on the WWE network. If you go and look for the show that is dated today in 1998, you'll find that. That is pure comedy. But that was some of what was going on in the Attitude Era. It was wild. It was crazy. And that happened then. And I think our next thing deals
But speaking of Atlanta.
Yes, speaking of the ATL, the Royal Rumble happened in the ATL on this day in 2002. And it was significant for a few reasons. For one, it was Triple H's return to the WWE. He had actually been out with that terrible quad injury that he had, that quad injury back in 2001. So he'd been out for 9 months. This was his comeback match. He did come back and win the Royal Rumble. That Rumble is also remembered because Maven, the first winner of Tough Enough, eliminated The Undertaker from the Royal Rumble, which just, I don't know that aged very well, but it was certainly a moment, that's for sure. And last but not least from that Royal Rumble, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Vince McMahon, who we just had a great conversation about, battled Ric Flair in an actual wrestling match. It was Flair's first match back in WWE in 9 years, and it was his first wrestling match since Nitro went off the air in March of 2001. Pretty crazy stuff for sure. But that was the Royal Rumble, and that all went down in 2002, and I believe those are vintage wrestling facts.
This is correct.
Vintage wrestling facts. Yeah.
And then do you want to hit the heel of the day real quick? Get out of here?
Please. Let's hit the heel of the day, shall we?
Heel of the day.
All right. So we all know we witnessed a terrible tragedy on Tuesday with the passing of Jay Briscoe. Highly unexpected. It has really punched the wrestling business in the gut. It's been just really painful and terrible to see happen. And so obviously one of the first people to drop the news on us was Tony Khan by way of Twitter. Tony Khan, of course, owner of Ring of Honor. And so as we have seen with people who have passed that have been under the auspices of Tony Khan, there's usually a really nice or fitting tribute to them. Brody Lee obviously comes to mind when we think about that. If you'll notice, when Dynamite started Wednesday night, there was the, dedication picture on the very front. And then there wasn't much mention of Jay Briscoe, save a couple of wristbands for some wrestlers. And then at the very end, Excalibur threw in, obviously praying for their family, et cetera, et cetera. Well, before we get mad at A.R. Khan, it wasn't his fault this time. No, it was not. It was actually the fault of parent company, that being Warner Brothers Discovery, who had a ban on all things Briscoe because of some statements that the Briscoes made back in 2013 that were anti-LGBTQ. So because of that, they said there was no way that there could be a dedication to Jay Briscoe on their network. So instead, A.R. Khan went on and actually produced a tribute show to Jay Briscoe. After things went off the air with Dynamite, it's going to be airing on the Honor Club, the newly purchased Honor Club, for free. But Warner Brothers Discovery, I mean, like, we're talking the unexpected death of a man that happened 10 years after these inflammatory comments, which he apologized for multiple times. So because of your lack of sensitivity, Warner Brothers Discovery, are you kidding me? Your entire company, your whole organization, including TNT and TBS, are the heel of the day.
Heel of the day!
Well, thank you, Mr. Professor. We appreciate it. We look forward to your red carpet looks. We look forward to the awards, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, we appreciate you stopping in, go and do you and glam up and do all the glitz and all that stuff. So, you know, you can get approved. Nick, I'm sure Nikki will approve it as well. And we look forward to seeing all the looks.
Thank you guys so much. It's always great to be here. Y'all know I love being here. So it's my first official on location one. So yeah,
okay.
It's crazy.
Can you give us a little color palette hint at what you're wearing?
You guys have to get hit
Okay.
with it. You just gotta, it's gonna be good. I'm trying to see what they said. My screen is so small. Okay, yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. We work on these things, so I think it'll be approved by Nikki.
So you have a team.
Well, so I actually do for pro wrestling. I do have a stylist. I do who makes all of my blazers. So it is all custom made.
Oh, this man's fancy.
There's intent when you're trying to go somewhere. You have to prepare the part. So,
you fancy, huh?
I do what I can. So yeah, it also ensures that nobody else is wearing what you're wearing.
Fair.
So
okay, all right. Well, look, new things we're learning about Mr. Professor every day.
So these are the things.
So we'll wait for the look, and then you can
Yes.
drop in as far as who designed it and etc.
I just thought of an idea for that surprise for him, TK, but we'll let him go.
I like it. We can powwow after.
Okay, yeah, they're calling me. I'm
All
sorry.
right,
I did not
thanks,
plan
Mr.
that, I promise
Professor.
you. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Oh my goodness.
We need
I
to
love
get
it.
Kane to sing Paparazzi by Lady Gaga as he's on the red carpet. We need some shots of him from the red carpet and just have Kane dub over Paparazzi.
We will discuss it, and there will be with this show. We just keep on bringing more added to it. And Nikki said we'll definitely talk about. So I mean, it is what it is. And Santana, I don't understand, Santana, why you keep poo-pooing on all the greatness that we're bringing. Like, I mean, again, the editing is not all the way there. However,
Ella, J, it's Ella
I
J.
mean, this is it's kind of magical a little bit.
Leave Kane where he at. Poor Kane.
Kane is radioing. So if you guys tune into Power 106 in Los Angeles, I'm sure you can get it on I think you can get it on iPad, but wherever. He is radioing, so you can definitely check him out. But what do we have next, Miss?
We have a reunion, well, a possible reunion of the Dudley Boys. Obviously, earlier this week, Devon Dudley was let go by WWE, as you know, he had I believe he'd been a backstage producer and all of that.
Yeah, I thought he left on his own accord.
So it seems like that it was an amicable decision that they came to, that he was leaving. But it was he went on Twitter then, and he had the thinking emoji, and then he said, "Oh, my brother, testify." So Bully also shared, obviously, Bully Ray he's in Impact right now, but they obviously have the Dudley Boy Band,
Mhm.
the historical. He posted a photo of them together with the tag team titles that they have won over the years. And so a lot of fans have been talking about a possible reunion among the two now that Devon Dudley is kind of a free man. I do know that Devon obviously they run the 3D Academy in Florida, so they always have that. Maybe that's an
Yeah.
avenue for it. But it seems like maybe they're revving up the band again.
Yeah, I remember when I think there might, and don't quote me on this, but I think there might have been a time or interview where they said it wasn't ever going to happen again. So, I mean, we'll
Oh,
see.
they're teasing it. Yeah, never say never. People say that about retirement, reunions, debuts, returns. Never say never in this landscape. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Devon's departure has not that it would be a non-compete or something that he can't appear in any other promotions for a certain amount of time.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. Bully Ray is obviously doing a lot of things in NWA and Impact right now. So we'll see where that lands him. As
Yeah.
obviously, I mean, we've seen both of them in Impact at the same time before. I mean, Aces and Eights comes to mind. So we'll see if an avenue and Impact maybe is the route for Devon, or if he's just going to kind of revert to more of a behind the scenes coaching role, focus on his 3D Academy.
Yeah, anything is possible. I do wonder with the non-complete clause, now that I'm thinking about it, like how
Yeah.
does it, I'd love to see a contract or an exit contract as far as how it works. Cause it's like 30 to 90 days. So now are you paying this person the 30 to 90 days in addition to another month or so they
Yeah.
can actually find something? Or does it mean non-complete that you can be in negotiations but you can't show up? So I'm really interested to see what the
Yeah,
dynamic is.
yeah, because I know William Regal's is a different scenario. Obviously, William Regal could go back to WWE
Mhm.
behind the scenes, but he couldn't appear on WWE TV, I believe, for a year. So I don't know if that's a thing where Devon can't appear on TV for a certain amount of time, if he can just be backstage. That is still yet to be seen. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
we'll see. What do we have next?
Kofi Kingston, another current tag team champion, NXT tag team champion. Obviously, Kofi Kingston, Big E's been gone for a while, but Kofi was recently talking about the years that he has left on his contract in 2019. I believe he signed a 5-year contract, which now would be he signed in December of 2019. So this is just going on now, entering his 4th year in the contract. He still has 2 years left, but was talking about, is he going to be done after those 2 years? And again, we were talking about never say never in professional wrestling, which is also a thing that we've seen around retirement. And he was mentioning that Mark Henry said that he was going to retire for 12 years. So Kofi doesn't know if he wants to retire after that. He was mentioning how himself, Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, and Randy Orton, he said, we're kind of the elder statesmen. As I was just thinking about that earlier today. Those 4 plus Rey Mysterio have really been the longest tenured people in WWE. So I was just thinking about that. It's crazy that now those are, besides Rey Mysterio, I don't picture the other 4 as really older. They're all
Right.
over 40 now though, but they're all still going at it. They've been in main events, as we just saw Miz and Dolph Ziggler this past Monday night. Kofi Kingston, obviously NXT champion right now. Randy Orton is sadly out injured, but they're definitely 4 people who are huge in the locker room. And Kofi was talking about, once he's done with wrestling, whenever that be, he said, as long as I'm having fun, I don't want to be the guy who comes back to work every day and is complaining being there. But he still wants to be involved with the New Day somehow, regardless, after, maybe he retires or maybe not. So
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely want to give a shout out to Xavier, because he has set up, and also to Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona before, he kind of did the blueprint, and WWE wasn't even feeling it at the time he
Yeah.
started his YouTube channel. But I definitely think that Xavier has really helped to set up the blueprint of trying to figure out within the WWE universe how to make an additional stream of income without killing your body. And I am willing to believe that there's a whole bunch of things that they have discussed behind the scenes that, if they were to never wrestle again, you would see some version of the New Day in some capacity. So I as far as, some other wrestlers I worry about is you've been doing this all your life, and it's clear that
Yeah.
the backup pen or the multitasking is not quite there. But some other wrestlers, it's just kind of like, oh, well, they're,
He's still kind of doing it. It just doesn't feel like it's to the magnitude as he was before, though.
yeah, there's some other stuff
But
happening with that.
But they did the party Cesaro, Claudio, Adam Cole, Tyler Breeze, and himself did just come out with their first song with Harley
Mhm.
Cameron, which by the way is actually really good. It's on my on repeat playlist. I really like it a lot.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, I don't know if music's something that they're seriously looking at. There's that avenue that they've now explored. But yeah, I mean, Big E though too. Kofi was noting, I believe, in a different interview, or it might have been the same one, that Big E's next big checkup is in March regarding
Yeah.
his neck. So we don't really know. Obviously, Big E's been doing a lot with recruiting and like the Nile program and doing attending the tryouts and being kind of like a judge, a mentor in that. So
Yeah.
he's reverted more to like a backstage in recruiting WWE people, but he has his next big doctor's appointment in March, and then maybe he'll get cleared then. I don't really know, but coming back from a neck injury is not an easy task.
Yeah, definitely scary. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, it is kind of hard to believe that, Kofi's like 41. Like,
Yeah.
Black Don't Crack is definitely kind of seen it.
Ron Killings just turned what, 50, 51, 54,
older than that,
51
but yeah,
yesterday?
he's an
He
interesting,
just recently turned 51 or something, I believe.
yeah, because I remember interviewing him, and I remember there was a point in WWE where he like took a break and he came back and he just looked leaner. And I was like,
Yeah.
what did you do? And he's like, I stopped drinking soda. I was like,
Oh, maybe that's the secret, because
Yeah.
I drink soda like almost every day.
I think that I was like, that's all. He's like, I stopped eating soda and I just cleaned up what I was eating. He's like, I didn't go crazy on it. I just kind of cleaned up my diet. And I was like, damn, like he looks better.
Yeah.
And I think that was before the pandemic, I
Mhm.
think. So that might have been 3 or 4 years ago.
This
It's like,
man
how do you
just-
possibly
I
get
know.
better?
I miss him too, man. I miss that man. I'm so sad, he got injured right when he was getting like another push. That's so sad. He would have been
Yeah.
funny in the Rumble too. But
Yeah.
no, we are getting Kofi Kingston in the Rumble. He was the first man to declare himself for the Rumble. So at least we get Kofi Kingston in the Royal Rumble. I'm looking forward to whatever surprise Kofi has there.
Yeah, there's always surprises with them. What else do you have?
We also have MLW news that kind of was released early this morning. Obviously, Major League Wrestling. They're gonna have a new home, I believe, coming up. When is it? Beginning Tuesday, February 7th. MLW will be premiering Underground. It was once the flagship show when it premiered in 2002, featuring the likes of CM Punk and Raven and Joey Styles. But it will be coming back now 20 years later, as MLW has reached an agreement with Reels to air MLW Underground every Tuesday beginning at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Now, that's a late time, to be honest with you, but it seems like you can stream it anywhere. But yeah, they were talking about they're going to be featuring an electrifying mix of world-class fighters, including MLW World Champion Alex Hammerstone. They're going to have Real One, our good friend Taya Valkyrie. John Hennigan's going to be on there too, Jacob Fatu, and a lot of other people. So that's an exciting upgrade addition for MLW too.
Well, I mean, this is possible, Nikki. We can discuss. It is. I feel like other than WWE, even I guess AEW with some of the shows, everything else TV wise, I mean, provided, and it depends on what your goal is. If your goal is to be, in the Twitterverse commenting live and also this stuff, it's a little bit different, but everything is so like stream worthy that it's just kind of like, the time doesn't really matter anymore per se.
Yeah.
Even for this show, like what we get, and I appreciate JD, Santana, and Nikki, and everybody for watching, but the numbers that we get the day after is, triple.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, we all have to watch it at the same time. Doesn't even matter.
I rarely watch things like when they're live. Like we all have like lives or work or social events or whatever. And JD, just for the record, 5 days a week I'm working till 10 or 11 or midnight. So I'm up late all the time. 5 days a week I literally work till 10, 11, or 12, depending on the day. So I just want to say that 10 o'clock is nothing.
I mean, JD, I'm sorry.
For JD, not for me.
Yes, for JD, for today, for
Yeah.
JD.
Yeah.
So yeah. And Nikki's saying the numbers are better after night. I think it just depends on who's watching.
Yeah.
So wait, same Ella. So what, Nikki, you have to check with your parents too?
No, that we're working late.
Oh, okay.
Like even tonight I gotta cover Raw, so I'll be up till at least 11, working till at least 11 o'clock, guys.
Yeah.
Oh my God, today's Friday. I don't know what day it is. Today's Friday. SmackDown's tonight.
Oh,
you can walk me for that one, but today is Friday. But still, I'll still be working after SmackDown tonight till about 11. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's weird. My I don't even want to talk about my schedule. It's very very weird. Oh goodness, 3 a.m. for Santana. What?
I not till 3 a.m., but that's happened to me before, not recently, but I feel that, Santana.
Yeah,
I know it doesn't. I'm literally thinking today is Monday. Maybe because my mind is so fixated next week because I'll be in San Antonio. This week, it's just been a blur.
Yeah, I don't know what day it is. It's just another. I check the multiple calendars and make sure I show up where I need to show up.
Yeah.
With that being said, do we have any more stories?
I have one more thing.
Okay.
Impact Wrestling announced a huge women's matchup for next month, a match that I've been manifesting for months.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Mickie James, the new Knockouts champion, will be defending her title against Masha Slamovich next month on February 24th at their next pay-per-view. Masha gave Mickie James a death notice, a death warning last night on Impact Wrestling, which obviously you can check out our post show that we have on Impact every Thursday evening. So yeah, it was a lot of knockout heavy content last night, which I was very pleasant to see. Obviously, Bully Ray confronted Mickie James last night, but Mickie James stepped up her ground. So we're going to be officially getting Masha versus Mickie on February 24th. So I'm super stoked for that one.
Now, I know you can't say all the behind the scenes, but for you guys who don't know, Ella is like one of Mickie James's best friends. And I'm sure there was a conversation that was taking place after the win. Is there anything that you could tell us that won't get you in trouble? As far as
I'm actually interviewing her tomorrow morning, recording an interview with her tomorrow morning, so that'll be airing in a few days after that.
Okay.
So I will have more answers for you after that. You'll have to stay tuned for that interview to air early next week. We were supposed to record a couple days ago, but obviously the Jay Briscoe stuff happened. So it was a rough week. But I'll have more answers for y'all next week. But yeah, I'm excited for Masha versus Mickie.
Yeah, it's going to be a really great. I mean, I'm excited for Mickie just in general. I think any match with Mickie, because she's just been in the game for so long and she can make anybody look good, but it also is great when that person is at that level as well. So I think it's going to be a great match. With that being said, I think that's all we have.
That's all I got.
Mr. Professor kind of. And I think Nikki was right when Nikki said, no shade to Kane, because I love Kane being on the show. Kane is a little bit long-winded. The show a little bit longer. Because it's the same amount of stories, but we're almost done. So it is what it is.
She is. So I don't know. I feel like, again, I don't know what's going to go down there next month. I feel that something shady is going to go down. I don't think that we're going to get this one time. This might be a 2-time deal for Mickie and Masha, much how kind of like Masha and Jordan was. But where can you see it? On SE Scoops. It'll be available on their YouTube and website early next week. I got to edit it after, so we'll see. 30 years to get off topic.
Oh, well, with that being said, Ella, where can everybody find you?
You can find me on Twitter. The easiest place is here. If you go to the link in my bio there, you can find all my links to all my projects, writing, podcasts, etc. I'm most active on Twitter. So you can follow me on Instagram or whatever, but I'm honestly not that active on there, as I should be.
Ella, J, it's Ella J, Ella, J.
All right, folks. Since it's Friday, we have done our job. Nikki's saying there's some behind the scenes stuff. And I'm sure the sloppy beatbox is hilarious.
That should be banned.
Santana,
He made it in like 2 minutes, I think, TK said.
I mean, it got made, and that's the most
did.
important thing. Like, a lot of stuff that is thrown together for the show is literally thrown together for the show. But the sentiment, I mean, if you had a big creative team, then
That's true.
wow.
I don't. I was trying to clear my camera because it was blurry. So,
and that's the problem. All right, folks. We can't poo-poo on Kane when he's not.
That
here.
was not my voice. If that's what you're talking about, that's Kane speaking. That's Kane singing. That's not me. If that's what you mean, Chad.
Oh yeah, that's very clear.
That was not my voice.
Clear Kane. However, make sure that you are checking out all our social media at WW Talk Pod. We have some after shows, so definitely check out our SmackDown after show, Turnbuckle Glam, and then we starting the week out again with Raw, Wow, and Wow and Raw, and then also WWT Live.
And the Rumbles next week.
And the Rumbles next week. I am so thankful that, speaking of not knowing what day it was, I'm so thankful that it wasn't this weekend, because I was like, well, thanks. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm happy that you're watching either way.
Yeah.
But
good.
and then actually one of our writers, it's so funny because I've been posting random questions on my Twitter. Oh, Abby, she's one of our writers. And I was like, what do you do for self-care? And she's like, I smoke some trees. And I was just like, all right.
Hi, Pluggo. We're literally about to wrap up. Thank you for joining in.
Yeah. So, it's nice to learn different things. And now we know Ella doesn't smoke.
I do not know.
So anyways, with that being said, check out our website. It's currently, we're working on a new one. So, mind the disarray. It's like a dirty room right now. But other than that, you can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. Thank you guys so much for joining us. WWT Live is Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then make sure you could check out the episode. Just start in the beginning and kind of go. You get some good wrestling facts. Other than that, thank you for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao, y'all.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.